everybody. Welcome back to another episode of whatever this is called, the podcast that's just like the wrist strap on a camera. If you don't use it, you're gonna lose it. I am Scott Taylor, as always, here with Mr. Steven Garcia. Steve, how you doing?
Fantastic, man. I got some back issues. I'm losing sensation on the left side of my face, but other than that, I'm great. How are you?
So this is gonna go well.
Yeah.
This is gonna go well. Well, this week we're talking about episode 3 of Welcome to Derry. Give our little viewpoints on it, things we noticed, things we are looking forward to coming up in the next 3 more episodes. I think we get 6 total.
8.
8. So we still have, let's see, 1, 2, 12, 5 more.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. But yeah, let's dive in. Episode 3. Steve, what are your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts. Well, I like where it's going. I think this is the episode where it kind of slows down in terms of the gore and action, and we kind of get into the meat and potatoes of the story, and it's good. I'm still invested in it. There's a few things that kind of took me out of the episode, but I think I'm beginning to think it's more of Andy Muschietti's use of CGI. I don't think I think his standard for it is kind of a lower bar. So he just kind of throws it out there and says, it's supposed to be like this and this and this and this. And so there's a few things that took me out, but we'll get to those. But overall, I think it's still a good show. I'm still invested. I'm still like, yeah, this is pretty cool. And everything just seems to be ramping up. Like I kind of said last episode, it's like this the inhale before the scream. I think we're still kind of inhaling a little bit, and kind of gives a little bit to the lore of it. And now I'm kind of, it's making me want to see why it takes the form of the clown, because we're seeing a clown in this episode. So yeah, I'm still in it. I still think it's great. What about you? What were your thoughts about it?
I enjoyed it. One thing I think I enjoyed about this episode is so much with Pennywise and it and the stories that are told. We start with the kids, right? And so in this episode, we're really seeing that, well, you've been interacting visually with these people that already dealt with it, right? So you're seeing that the adults in there actually were children in Derry that dealt with their own versions of Pennywise and it. So I actually enjoyed that a lot about this episode, being able to go, oh, wait, so that's him. That's that person. Great. The General
Shaw.
Ajax from Warriors.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched it or listened to it, go back to our Gonna See My Friends episode on the Warriors. But yeah, it's great to see those things, the different cast, and being able to go, okay, that's them as children, and kind of jump back and forth. I think it fleshes out the story really well.
Yeah, and it also gives you a little bit more about how the evil is so contained in this town, because when you leave town, you kind of leave the memories behind, and you don't remember. And when Shaw comes back, and she's talking to what was her name? Rose, I think her name is Rose. Yeah, and he's like, I didn't remember until I got here about all this stuff, and so it kind of lets you know that Derry is kind of this place where this entity is kind of taken over in this time that it's been there, and so it's interesting how that's going to play out, because we already kind of got that from the movies and the book, obviously, but I'm interested in seeing how that plays out. So
that'll be really interesting. This episode starts with a flashback. Yeah, and it starts with 2 previous cycles ago from the current. We're saying the current cycle is the 60s. This one is going back 2 cycles, and it starts with like a carnival circus type event where the future general has an experience with it, and gets to meet Rose, gets to meet the Native American kids, hangs out with them during the summer, gets to build a relationship there, and actually experiences it in the sense of taking the form of the skeleton man from
Yeah.
the sideshow, and I love oddities and curiosities in sideshow. So once you throw that into a movie, I'm like, I'm in. I'm
Yeah.
in. Let me see what they got. Let me see how they're going to handle this. Do you enjoy that whole setup?
Yeah, yeah, I did because it also tells you how it operates, and we keep calling it. I guess Pennywise it. I don't know, but yeah, it tells you how it operates and preying on children's fears, and that's why I'm interested in seeing how it takes the form of that clown because in this episode it's showing you that it's preying on the fear of Shaw when he was a kid, when he got afraid of the skeleton man in the tent. Obviously that fear is instilled in Shaw, and so when he sees him in the forest later on in the episode, it tells you that it's feeding on this fear of that well, I mean it is the most recent fear, but a fear nonetheless. And so yeah, I was really happy with that sequence too because it kind of laid the groundwork there, and yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a good setup for kind of the building of
Yeah.
how it does. That was a very recent fear to him, but clearly it
Yeah.
was a very deep fear. It scares the Jesus out of him, and so it was able to go, okay, great, I'm going to pluck that out, and that's what
Yeah.
you're going to be messed with.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to see that and see. Do you think? I was trying to think. Do you think I want to say tastes better, right? Like Pennywise and It. Do you think it tastes better when he's prolonged it and made it these people kind of more afraid? Like, is there like a basting to the children and the people that he collects?
Or it's like fattening up your cow,
Yeah.
like before you slaughter it. Yeah, I think yeah, that's a good question. I definitely think that probably plays into it. There's a lot of things like that too, especially in the movies where they establish it's 27 years or around there, and yeah, the way that it salivates right before it attacks, and yeah, that's a good point. I would definitely say that's probably part of the plan, especially when trying to kind of herd these kids into being fearful and being afraid of whatever their fears are. So yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I would say yeah, that's probably part of it.
So let's talk the army base. Let's talk Halloran and
Yeah.
that storyline and what's going on there. What were your thoughts on that side
Well,
of things?
it's cool that they tie it to this. I was going to say boomerang, this slingshot, and it's interesting how in the books there's a slingshot associated with those kids as well, and I thought that was really interesting and really fun to kind of present as some sort of like talisman or something that that is connected with it and that entity. But yeah, it was cool. And it's also cool how it's Dick Halloran, that's his name, right?
Yep.
How they tie that to The Shining and how it's just kind of fills out that character too. Yeah, just the idea of using that slingshot as some sort of guide and trying to find this entity. Yeah, it was really cool. I wanted more, like I'm chomping at the bit. I think it's the military part of it kind of started out really slow for me, and I was really interested in the kids story. But now kind of it's equalized, and now I'm like, I'm aching for how this kind of transpires, this kind of this gift that Halloran has, and then it's even kind of what's the word? It's recognized by he's saying, "Who are you?" He's recognizing that this human has this ability, and it's kind of messing with him with it. And I think in the coming episodes, I saw the teaser for the next week's episode, and it looks like he's gonna use it against a couple people in the story. So yeah, I thought. How about you? Do you think that it's coming along, the military part of the story coming along?
Yeah, I think it's fleshing out pretty well. Like you said, it's that's kind of the more interesting part to me now too,
Mm-hmm.
because the storyline with the kids, it was more them coming together, and then it's like, what are we gonna do, and the whole
Yeah.
graveyard scene that we'll get into.
Yeah.
But I think having Halloran over for dinner,
Oh
that
yeah.
that was a great scene, kind of showing that he's playing his angle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even at that dinner, he's kind of using the shine to pull out little pieces of things. He didn't,
Yeah.
never told him he had a kid, but he, pulled that out.
I was
That
like,
he realized,
whoa.
yeah, he realized he was in, he felt the tickle in his brain. He's like, I've never, that I only felt that when I was attacked, and so he was
Yeah.
one of those people. He was the purpose there was to see, what's his brain when this stuff happens? Does he truly not have fear? And that's what Halloran did. That's why he was
Yeah.
part of the attack on him. So
Yeah.
it was really interesting to see that dynamic where he's like, yeah, I'm not messing with you. I know,
Yeah.
I know what you're capable of. No, you
Yeah.
don't have to worry about that. But it's really funny that he says that after he just tickled his brain while he was eating dinner. It's like,
Yeah.
why did you even go in then? Like, but once he was
Yeah.
found out, he's like, no, I'm not even going down that route. So I think it's pretty sweet. I do look forward to more of the military stuff to see what
Yeah.
other tokens do they find that they can use to try to get closer. And now it knows about Halloran, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't going into its brain. It was going into his brain and was messing with him. And he's like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
now getting messed with.
Yeah.
This isn't cool. So it's kind of put him on his heels a little bit too, which is interesting.
Yeah, especially when Shaw comes in and says, did you get inside, or did you find him, or did you find it, or? And he says, well, it found me,
Yeah.
and or something to that effect. I can't recall the actual line, but yeah, it definitely put him back on his heels, and you could see it too when he was talking with Shaw afterward, and the effect that it had on him. Let's see. Yeah, and I'm wondering too, the thing that came out, especially when there's that shot where he invites Halloran in, Hanlon invites Halloran in, and it lingers on that shot of that couple walking across the street. And I'm wondering how much the racism at that time intertwines with kind of the control that it has on this, and how it. I think I mentioned it before, but how it interweaves with that kind of racial tension. Because I think that's obviously that's going to play a part in the series, but I'm wondering if we'll ever get to see like how it uses that to kind of get its hands, I guess, in the town and something. But I don't know. Yeah, let's go. Should we talk about the graveyard scene?
Yeah, let's talk about the kids this episode and what they were doing. So their big thing was just you got Lily in the mental hospital, right? We got to talk about this with the housekeeper Madeline Stowe,
Yes.
famous Madeline Stowe.
That you're talking about a Western.
Oh,
she's
Last
in?
of the
It's called-
Mohicans. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Last of the Mohicans.
Yeah.
So Last of the Mohicans, 12 Monkeys, bunch of other stuff. Pretty big name to get in for this part. It's kind of like pulling Ajax in there, like it's a recognizable person. So you know that she's gonna be there for a while. She's going to. This wasn't
Hopefully.
just a one episode thing. And she's kind of telling her about her dad, and she's like, yeah, I my dad said it's about the journey and the people that you go with. So it'll be really interesting to see where that pans out. This friendship. She's going to come back at some point, and is she on Lily's side, or is she actually on its side?
Yeah, that's the thing that I was reading a couple of articles, and they were saying how maybe this is a version, because it is the personification of the entity, whatever that is, and this might be the personification of the turtle, Maturin, I think that's what. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking that, but the first initial thought that came to me when I saw that scene was that, is this it, like messing with this child, because it knows that this child is kind of getting its own, it's building its confidence, so we still have to some way get in there. That was my first initial impression of that, but it could be like the other side, the turtle. kind of imposing its influence and trying to help these kids battle it. So yeah, and when I saw her, I was like, oh wow, cool, man. I wonder where she went. Because I think she did a television series called Revenge probably about 10, 15 years ago. And that was the last time I heard of her or heard that she was in stuff. And she was a big 90s actress. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how far she goes. And hopefully she's part of the cast. Yeah.
I think they, one theory that I saw was talking about the carnival that we saw. And, the boy looks off in the distance and there's a clown, a child clown sitting on a stoop, right, of one of the wagons. And the time frame would make sense because Madeline Stowe looks great for her age. She's like 67, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. So she would be the right age to be that girl if that was to carry forward to a couple more cycles. That could be her. So was her father the actual Bob Gray, right? I think is his name, that human name that it takes over Pennywise and that image. Was that his daughter? Is she trying to get her dad back and working for it? Is she trying to get revenge against it?
Yeah.
What is going on there? So that'll be really interesting to see the next couple episodes too.
Yeah. I was definitely... at first I thought that was it, but then I saw how young it was when they did at the end when she was just watching them kind of walk away, and that's gonna be interesting too. Definitely want to see where that's going.
And so Lily gets out, and then she goes back to is it Ronnie? Is that what it is? I think it's Ronnie.
Yeah,
and it is like, look, I'll do anything to make this right. Like I'll tell them. But it's no one's going to believe us. And they say, well, we need some physical proof. And they whip out an old school camera with the flash cube on top there. And they have to figure out how to develop the photos. So they pull in the other two kids. And they go to the graveyard because Rich has said, oh, my Tio has could put curses on people. And so let's go do that. And they try to raise these spirits to take photos of them.
Well, that's the thing, I'm still in awe about Lily and Ronnie. I think they're as far as the kid actors go, I think those are the two that are kind of carrying that part of the story. They're playing terror and fear and frustration so well. And I think the other two, are just kid actors, and they're great. They do the thing, but I feel like you could see the difference in the talent there. Whereas the two of them I feel like are acting the emotional beats of the scene, and then the other two are kind of more of the kid actors, that they're a little precocious and kind of they act like kids, but and maybe it's the material they don't have enough to kind of play off of, but and so I'm still impressed with the kids, but they get the pictures. And they go into the cemetery to do this ritual. What did you overall think about this cemetery scene? Because I got some thoughts about it.
I got a lot of problems with you people. We're going full Festivus on this scene. It not the greatest. Special effects not believable. Definitely too shiny for the situation. And just. Even the way it was shot, I know they showed some of the behind-the-scenes stuff of how they, had the blue screen and they're on the bikes. And I was watching Lily riding with Ronnie, and Lily's like moving the handlebars a lot. Like, is that side of the road really that much more rough than Ronnie's side? So it took me out of it a little bit for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of the first thing I thought of when this thing was going was that this looks like a scene out of the Ghostbusters, and it really took me out of the episode. But this goes back to a little bit of the CGI, which Andy Muschietti wasn't a part of, but it's kind of the same CGI as the Salem's Lot movie that came out last year or 2 years ago, whenever it came out, and it really kind of it disappointed me because up until that time. Yeah, the helicopter had to be CGI because, it's expensive to probably rent a helicopter like that and fly it around, fuel and all that. So I get all those things, but, the CGI kind of, like these kids are up on this tower overlooking this town. It's like, why can't you just make it? Why can't you make that a real set? Like, why can't you find some or build something instead of using that as CGI? And so it's little things like that I think, and it may be budgetary reasons, but it's little things like that. And then this scene, the cemetery scene, for the most part, really kind of disappointed me, and it kind of, in episode 1, there was a lot of janky CGI, but it fit, I feel like, because there was this demon flying around, and it kind of just fit more. I didn't really have a problem with it, but I think in this episode, Andy Muschietti, the Flash was kind of, did you see the Flash at all?
No.
Okay. Yeah, the CGI in that is really, really bad. And in some parts, it's horrendous. It's like, didn't anybody's quality check this before it went out? But so I think he has a tendency to kind of not really understand the high mark that you have to have for CGI to make it believable and to have it fit into your story. And I'm afraid that he's just not really good at the CGI part of it. But I liked the ending of it. I liked where it came out of. They got the picture, the camera thing where they're dropping the camera. It just didn't, for me, it just didn't fit into the episode. And it kind of took me out. So not kind of, it did take me out. But by the end, when, they find, what's his name? Jesus. I want to get this kid's, Will Hanlon, the young Hanlon, when he gets out and then they go to the school. And then I'm back into it, and then I'm like, okay, well, did they get it? But that just chunk, it took me out.
Yeah, that whole scene, I was like, wait, did Stranger Things drop early? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Am I on the wrong app? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
It was dropping the camera. Oh, you get the camera, pick it up.
Yeah.
And
I got it. Wow.
oh no, I don't got it. It was very slapsticky and not the high point of this series so far.
Right. Yeah. I have to agree with you on that one.
One interesting thing too, we've talked about this in prior episodes, is knowing what happens in the future to Will and his wife as the parents of Mike as they die in a fire, and maybe that's Ronnie. So looking at it, I'm like, oh, maybe they get married, and maybe they die in a fire together. That adds a little gravitas to the scenes with them, together, and they hug and all that stuff. So we'll see if that pans out, or if she ends up dying by the end of the season. And my theory is off.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to think about that, that fire, and to think that that's kind of an ending point of some of these characters, and it feels like, oh man, because you're getting to know them and you're getting to be like, oh, these are cool people, but
and knowing whatever they do, they're gonna die at the hand of Pennywise. So knowing that, it's like, oh man, you just have that little bit of cloud over anytime you see them get any accomplishment. You're like, enjoy it now, buddy, because it's not gonna end well for you.
Yeah. How about that ending when it ends? Yeah, in the dark room. What did you think about that? Did you pull you back in after that cemetery scene?
Yeah, the fact that they got some shots, you're like, okay, well, it is physically manifesting these things, right? It's not like, in the movies when she goes into the building and sees the old lady, and then she runs out and looks at the building and it's decrepit now.
Yeah,
right? It's not that thing where it's just kind of putting the shade over your eyes and a filter on you. These are actual physical things that it manifested so that a photo could be taken of them. That's kind of weird to me. It's always strange when you're like, oh, now they have these photos, and nobody's going to believe the photos anyways. Like, what is this? You dressed up in makeup or whatever, or, who knows what they're going to believe. But the last scene with, the image of the clown on there, and it does look like the child clown. Mm-hmm. It looks more like the child clown, the hairstyle, than Pennywise. So I'm interested to see where that goes next week too. Yeah,
I was thinking that I'm thinking that maybe it doesn't even it's just showing the kids that, because that's what the kids want to see. Oh, we got something. But I feel like when they show them to whoever, like the police chief or whatever, I think that either it's not going to be there or it's going to be something completely different. And you're right. I think, but in a way, I can kind of explain that away in the sense of like these are kids and they think, oh yeah, we have it. Look, this is what chased us, and they're just going to be like, you had your friends, whatever. This is disgusting because I think a couple of them were their dead friends, right, from the first episode. So I think. Yep. They're going to be like, this is how dare you make fun of these kids who died or whatever, something along those lines. Because you're right. I mean, you can't really go, oh, there are monsters. I can tell by these pictures. It's just a completely 180 to whatever's happening now. Because they just want to have the guy. They want to have. Geez, I wish old man brain here. The man they arrested for the
Ronnie's dad.
Yeah.
The projectionist.
Yes, they want to just nail him and send him away. So there's unless someone steps up and says I did it, they're not going to let him off the hook. So yeah.
No, we haven't even talked about that scene too. When we get a little between him and the the sheriff, kind of talking and the sheriff trying to catch him in a trap there. And we haven't even talked about the sheriff and the sheriff's lineage. Going forward. Being
that's right.
Police chief down the line, and then his kid being a big part of the bullying of the Losers Club, and then becoming the one that ends up stabbing and coming after them when they're adults. But in this scene, we see that there's something else going on with the projectionist. The projectionist was out there and is not telling the truth about where they were. So how are they going to tie into it?
That this is me being really kind of probably clueless, but I thought that I feel like it was. I just didn't put two and two together right away. It wasn't until after I saw the little featurette that they have at the end of the episode that I really kind of put that together. And so I'm wondering. Okay, so he wasn't, because up until then you're like, this dude was at home. And this is just another example of how it was back in those times, and those kind of things that worked me up. But then you get this, then you get the not a confession, but a confession of like, well, he wasn't where he says he was. So that just kind of drops the doubt, and you're thinking, could he be hanging out with the other guys from the the Navy place or wherever they hang out, or is he in? Because obviously he found it he said in the neighborhood or something out about.
Yeah, I think it was actually on the same street that I believe Georgie ends up living on.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So that's it's yeah, it's all just coming together. It's gonna be fun.
And are we gonna see more of a scenario where he, is the adult and he had an interaction when he was younger, or, what's going to happen with him? That'll be interesting to see too.
Yeah, definitely. I'm ready, man. So overall, this series it's still good for me, man. I love it. I can't wait for next week. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's adding to and not taking from. It's not stepping to the side and doing stuff. This all feels naturally in the same universe as the prior movies, and for the most part, the book. It all feels pretty true and relevant to everything that we know about this story up to this point.
And the motivations. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't.
No, I was just saying, which is great. Oh. That's what we wanted to do. We don't want it to be like a sequel or kind of a starting branch of something else. This is actually the same trunk.
Yeah, definitely. I think you hit the nail on the head, and I think this is really a part of this It universe and Stephen King universe, and it feels that way. And the motivations are, that's a big part of why I like what I like, is that these motivations to do certain decisions aren't just, kind of. Certain people just don't have plot armor, so they can kind of do things, and you would expect them to do those things. And Alien Earth. So when series don't do that, and all of a sudden the characters start acting out of character, that's just, for me, is when I'm like, oh no. And Yeah, it's refreshing to see, and I can't wait to see more episodes, see where this goes.
Yeah, and we'll be here every week. We'll be catching up on our thoughts on it and where this is progressing. We got another 5 to go. So let us know in the comments. What are you thinking about this season? What are you thinking about this episode specifically? Do you like where it's going? Did the cemetery scene piss you off as much as it did us and take you out of it? Let us know. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. You can leave us messages wherever you find us. Like, comment, subscribe. Until next week. We're not mad. We're just we're not we're just disappointed, right? Like that. We're not mad. We're just disappointed. We'll catch you next time on whatever this is called.
Bye.